What an insane time it is as we look around our country and we ask ourselves, isn't it a good day to kill more Christians? Am I right? Well, most of you think that's kind of a crazy presupposition, unless, of course, you live in Israel. And you've decided that you have to fight Hamas, so much so, you've got to fight the Hamas that's hiding in Christian churches, Christian hospitals, and in Christian areas where they claim there are no Muslims at all. What an insane thing's going on today. Plus, we also find out that Comey's daughter, who we've known has been implicated in the Diddy case and in the all-endearing Epstein file release, has been accordingly dismissed. Why? After being so instrumental in the sealing of the Epstein files, is she now being let go? The cover-up and the fix is in. Plus, there are less women on the show today, so things are looking up. My name's Elijah Schaefer. It is approximately 7:06 p.m. Eastern Time in the United States. You are watching The Riff live, Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Let's start the show. All right, my name is Elijah Schaefer, and we have a great show for you guys today. Let us know ones in the chat if the audio sounds fine to you. Twos in the chat if you want us to be a little bit louder. My name is Elijah Schaefer. As I mentioned, we have a great show. Just waiting for a little bit of that applause to jump in here for a second. Here we go. There you go. And a little confetti as well as we jump into the show. We got a new, our intern switching today, so you know things are going to be a little bit more brown and a little bit more Mexican. No, I'm kidding. Joining me today are my co-hosts for the show today. Joining me on my right is the contributor for RiffTV.com. Tell us who you are and why you're here.
Hi, my name's Sarah Stock, contributor for Rift. I'm here because I'm just so sick and tired
Of the radical left.
of the Democrats.
Of the radical left and the woke Democrat left, MSDNC, bringing in all those Democrat people across the border. Am I right? Am I right, folks? Can I get W's in the chat for Republicans in the primary 2028? Yes? No, okay. Well, you are also in dress code this week, which is fantastic. I know the first couple weeks you were here, you didn't know what business casual, business formal meant, but you took a trip to Ross. Or perhaps it's Ross Dress for Less, what it's called, right?
Exposing me?
Whoa. No, I didn't even know you actually got it at Ross.
You're not supposed to.
I didn't know you got it at Ross.
You're not supposed to tell everyone.
I didn't know you got it at Ross.
That's where I get my clothes.
Isn't that the joke, though? Did you get it at Ross? Oh, I got it at Ross.
Wait.
All right, that is the joke. All right, I gotta fix your mic. Can you pull your mic down as well, way down, boom,
Okay.
boom, boom, boom.
I can't.
Yeah, just pull that it's like her mic's always way it's for some massive adult or something like that. All right.
A massive
and
adult,
joining me, of course,
as
on the
opposed to a
left,
small child, which is me.
you actually are pretty small. Also 3'8" herself. Anna Perez, contributor here at RiffTV.com. Tell us who you are, why you're here.
Hi, I'm Anna Perez, and I'm here to fight the demon rats
Let's
as well.
go.
Yeah. And I'm a contributor at Rift, and you can follow me at WrongThinkAnna _.
Let's go. And of course, joining us always, the lovely, the dapper. And I say lovely today because he is looking quite sharp, right? Quite sharp. Quite amazing.
Yeah,
Appreciate it,
good.
brother.
The founder of Snowflake News. Tell us who you are, why you're here.
Hey, Michael Hennessy of Snowflake _news. Also a contributor here in Rift, as
No
well
applause
as
for him?
assistant
No
producer.
applause?
I guess I don't get that. I haven't shopped at Ross, so I guess I'm not fitting in today. But yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, I just thought that Ross was where all the girls get their dresses because I used to watch Dayroom Court TV.
The only reason I brought it up because I was like, wow, I found this stuff at Ross and it was like bargain.
you
know what I
actually
mean?
did?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I did.
Do you think I remember that? A female gave me details about her clothing, and I think I cash registered that back into my bank system. I didn't remember.
I've never been to
now
a
I'm
non-ghetto
Now I've been
Ross,
exposed. I shop at a ghetto Ross.
Why is it? Well,
But
you work here.
But I find cute clothes there, and this was $10. So
No,
makes
I,
sense.
I like that dress.
I'm
It
not-
does
I'm not mad about it.
Maybe I'll start going there.
Okay, well, I was really hoping to talk more about your dresses. However, I think, unfortunately, Henny told me maybe we should talk about the stories for today. You sure about that?
Yeah, I think we should head that way. I mean, that would be good, spending 2 hours doing it.
Yeah, I do want to talk about your dresses. However, I do want to jump into the story for today. So it's not really that detailed of a story, but it is a reminder that things have gotten a little bit crazy in the Middle East. Israel just announced today that they're going to be occupying Syria. Now, of course, I remember Max Abrams and Jimmy Michael Field and Alex Steinwertz and others back in 2023 told me that I was a terrible person for claiming that the war was going to target people other than Hamas. In fact, Hamas is under so many buildings, sometimes he's under several miles of city. So much so they have to destroy everything, including the streets, because they're under the streets too. I saw one of Israel's targeted strikes in Iran, by the way. They had the targeted strikes. They just launched a missile into, like a bunker missile, into the middle of an intersection, like a busy intersection. Just the cars just blew up and went flying everywhere. They didn't say what they were targeting. That's the clarity there. They're targeting civilians, but they did target someone, am I right? Jahed Absulem reported this today. Israel bombed Gaza's only Catholic church, injuring its pastor. You can bring up the screen here. How you think global Christian community will respond? Now, this is why I bring up this story. So this is the only Catholic church in Gaza. It's apparently was the only Catholic church in Gaza, which is interesting. I know some other historic parishes and churches, including the Orthodox Church, were already destroyed. But
yeah. Let's make sure people know it's not like this was the only church. There were other churches. They were just also destroyed. So.
Correct. And this is a reminder that, there are not just Muslims in Gaza. There are also Christians too. And I think that it's kind of ironic that, you'll see, I saw Joel Berry defending, we'll talk about this later, Israel attacking Syria, bombing Damascus. And he's like, they're trying to protect the Christians. But then when Israel kills Christians, it's just crickets. It's silence. That's all we can hear.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's every time you bring this up, because I've said this before, even on the show, this war does not benefit American Christians at all. And they're always trying to get Christians, particularly evangelicals, on board with this. So it is interesting that they bombed a Christian church, a Catholic church in particular, because Catholics are really, I would say Catholics and Orthodox, the Orthodox community are the main groups that are kind of, I guess, being critical of Israel. But evangelical Zionists, they will still be on board with this regardless. Unfortunately, that's just the case.
Well, historically, because they're not dispensationalists. So, what's kind of crazy is the early church has never been about promoting Israel, because we believe that the promise of Israel was given to his people, the Holy Church, right? And that the promise was not nullified, but it was fulfilled through Jesus. That was a promise through Abraham, particularly in the moment. He intended what? What particularly to do? To give us the salvation through Jesus. And then he set up his Holy Church. Now, obviously, there are disagreements. I mean, we have our creeds with the Catholic Church, which I know may disagree, symbolizes the Catholic Church, but there are people who disagree that it means there has to be an apostolic succession, whatever, down the line. And disagreements come. But one thing people do agree on is this, that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. There's no way to the Father but through him. And I don't know how you could believe that when we all do believe that, somehow think that God cares more about these people in a country that was made up about 75 years ago. I mean, genuinely, with a bunch of Polish and European Jewish diaspora people who, many of which converted later in life and are not ethnically Semitic at all, right? It's not even genetically Semitic people. Some do live there, but you can tell. We were talking about that, I think, the other day. You can tell people that are Jewish, like Semitic, you can tell they're ethnically Jewish, versus some that just may be Ashkenazi or some other form of Judaism. However, I just find it's funny that it's never been more clear to me. The silence on an issue like this reminds me, just like with Azerbaijan and the Israelis arming them with drone technology to ethnically cleanse Christians, that, Israel's not on the side of Christ. The only reason why they're on the side of Christ is the same reason why black people in Africa like white people. It's tourism, baby. The money comes in the Holy Land. But and remember, they've got to like Christians because they are expecting a Christian country to defend them. And the biggest lobby outside of AIPAC itself is evangelical Christians in the United States. So it does pay to play.
Yeah, I mean, the church has been hijacked. I mean, really, that's what it comes down to. We're taught that, we're supposed to, pretty much in every church, because of the Schofield Bible, that they're God's chosen people. They're trying to push us to just promote all their endless wars. But the way that Israel and the Jews actually view Christians is totally different. We know that in the Talmud. We also know how, if anybody, there's a lot of things that go on actually in Israel. If you're a Christian, you walk down the streets, a lot of times you could face different types of persecution. And they really look down on us. So what they did is they hijacked the church to convince us to go ahead and go with this endless agendas that they have for us to carry out, pretty much to grow their greater country, which is it's just insanity, because those who actually choose Jesus Christ are the children of God. Those are the chosen people, which we know they reject him. So.
Yeah, well, I feel like a lot of Christians now who are just Protestant, they're in America, they're just raised Christian. And of course, they grow up being told that Jews and Christians are basically like brothers and sisters kind of thing. I don't think they realize just like the very long history of beef between Jews and Christians.
Yeah.
Like, think about like all of Europe for like the past 2,000 years. There's so much beef, especially between the Catholic Church and Jews all over Europe. And so like Christians don't really realize that. Maybe some Catholics kind of realize that, but not really. But Jews, they remember that. They know their history, and they kind of see us as like an enemy over a long period of time. And that's why you'll see all of these anti-Catholic movies in Hollywood. It's like all of these nuns are either sexualized or they're evil, right? So it's definitely like this major beef, and it's kind of one-sided because I feel like most Christians don't even realize that.
Well, that's why they use Jews do, to achieve their ultimate goal, which of course in this case is to basically take over the entire region, destabilize the region like we talked about last night, and take over. And it's like, to your point, totally one-sided, and also the niceness and willingness to work with them is one-sided as well. Christians tend to do more for Jews than Jews do for Christians, and you can see that echoed in the relationship between the United States and Israel as well. You know, what are they actually doing for us, right? We're always the ones who have to answer their call at the end of the day. But last time I checked, I can't remember the last time Israel really helped the United States government and any of our affairs.
Well, the Pope actually brought this up. AF Post reported that Pope Leo the 14th, right at the 14th, was called for an immediate ceasefire after Israel struck the only Catholic church in Gaza, killing 2 people and injuring several others. Pope Francis' friend, Father Gabriel Romanelli, is among the wounded. And, obviously that's not like a terminal wound there, but I just bring up the idea that, okay, there's only 2 sides to this. The reason why we're talking about it is not to ramp up support against Israel due to anti-Semitism or anti-Jewish, rhetoric. It's to remind you that this is not our ally. And I think there's a fundamental understanding of that. This is not our ally. They do not hold our values, okay? The most American thing that they promote is homosexuality, which is true. They're very, very gay, and, we love it on the Republican and the Democrat sides.
Or you could just argue that's a Jewish value and they brought it to America.
Well, it is funny.
That is American and Jewish values. Anything, are those 2 different words?
Well, this is the thing, though, is when people say, like, America's not a Judeo-Christian country, I was thinking about it, I was like, honestly, it kind of is. Yeah. Because think about how many, like, Jewish values kind of run America.
It shouldn't be, but it is.
It's a capitalist country. It's like a materialist country. It's a degenerate country.
It's not even capitalist. It's financial capitalist, which means, like, because capitalism itself is inherently wrong. The idea of, like, you have money in your bank account. It is backed up by a gold reserve. You use that money at a low interest rate or no interest rate to borrow and to trade and to grow. That buying, trading, and selling is not what is Jewish. It's these expanding and fractional lending reserves, the idea of like allowing banks to lend out portions of the money that they don't have in the reserve, which then inflates the currency, giving power to central banks that then allows printing of money outside of a reserve that then devalues the work and causes a 2-family or a 2-parent working household. Like their version of capitalism, we shouldn't even call it capitalism. We should call it Talmudic economics. I mean, that's honestly what it is. It is, because capitalism was fine in this country up until the Federal Reserve.
Yeah, then it got ruined.
Well, you can just make a distinction and say it's just kind of like unbridled capitalism, which is kind of the end ideology of capitalism. Like that's what capitalism seeks to become.
I don't think so, because I think capitalism, when it's paired with moral intrinsic,
then it's not capitalism.
No,
that's not what capitalism is.
That is what
capitalism as an ideology basically says that.
Oh my God. Are we
it's true.
Again? Okay.
Yeah.
Literally, if you read our founding fathers, they literally talked about the economic system they were setting in place with trade, and they said it would not continue without a moral and a just people who fall in line with Christ. So he's saying capitalism without Christianity, without a religious moral backbone, would in itself fall apart and turn into socialism, which it always does, because it leads to greedy cronyism. They sell out through central banks. The Jews have been doing this for thousands of years.
Yeah, but capitalism as an ideology basically says that whatever makes the most profit is the most moral because it makes the most profit. And so on a global scale, it lifts the most. That's why you always hear neocons say, think about how many people we've lifted out of poverty with capitalism. That is capitalist ideology because so it's not basing your economy on morals. It's trying to base your economy on making the most money as possible and then trying to maybe somehow fit morals into it. And then that never works out. It's basically just the difference between prioritizing having people work for money versus having money work for the people. And the Catholic Church actually says that's a heresy.
Well, it's not an ideology; it's a system.
Before
the
you two
ideology is
go-
Christianity. We gave up Christianity. I'm just saying we gave up Christianity.
Before you guys go back
lose
and
that.
forth about for 20 or 30 minutes, you remember that video with Trump too? And I always get a kick out of it when talking about how banks taking over, the interest rates, taking advantage of the American people. I remember that one time he had a conference and he was with a bunch of Jewish people. It was like an Israel conference. I believe it was in Washington. And one of the things that he brought up was he wanted to make interest rates lower. And the whole time that he's doing this, giving his speech, people are cheering him on. They're rooting him on. They're like, oh, this is great. And the second he said, okay, I'm going to make it so, there's a cap on interest rates, it was like dead silent. like don't touch our interest rates, so.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying capitalism isn't of itself a natural discourse of buying, selling, and trading. You have to pair the natural form of life, which, by the way, because socialism requires a big bureaucracy. Capitalism, the idea of the way that we move and we trade, has been the natural form in empires that we're not feudalistic. And so when you come down to it, like with Christianity, why are we so corrupt? Capitalism literally has nothing to do with it. Why is communism impossible? Because communism is not only an ideology, but it comes with a basic economic system that is devoid of God. Like, why is communism so deadly? Because it seeks to establish man as God. And so communism is also very Jewish too, because that's what it is. It's not Judaistic and Talmudic Judaistic. It's actually just anti-Christ. It's anti-God. It wants to destroy the hierarchy of God. And so, like, when you see that Israel's destroying churches, they don't care. And that's why, I want to remind you, they don't see a distinction between Muslims and Christians in Israel. It's all anathema to them, right? This is something that they whether it's Amalek or whether it's another tribe that they want to destroy, they don't really care because we are all idol worshipers. We're idolaters. They see Jesus as an idol. You know that, right? And they also see the Catholic Church, the imagery that they use, as idolaters and should be destroyed. And when you talk to very Orthodox or traditional Christians, even radical right-wing nationalist Christians in Israel, they talk about destroying the idolater. And I just got to remind you guys, it's like no matter all the brainwashing in the world is not going to take away the fact that these people view you as their enemy. And I mean, it's just genuinely, has Israel apologized to the Pope yet?
Israel did apologize about the incident that happened. What are you talking about? What just happened now?
Yeah. Because I know we have it in here.
I believe they had a response, which let me pull up here.
Yeah, bring it up.
All right. It says the statement from the Prime Minister: Israel deeply regrets that a stray ammunition hits Gaza's Holy Family Church. Every innocent life lost is a tragedy. We share the grief of the families and to the faithful. And then they went on again to say, we are grateful for Pope Leo for his words of comfort. Israel is investigating the incident and remains committed to protecting the civilians and the holy sites.
No, yeah. So you're the only Catholic. Are you Catholic?
Yeah. Catholic.
Okay. Personally, how do you feel about this?
Not happy. Why would I be happy?
No. All right. Senator Stock from Minnesota, please come up here and tell us what you think. No good.
Yeah, well, I already said
No
before,
bueno.
it's not like this is the first church they've destroyed. They've destroyed every other church in Gaza. So obviously it's disgusting, horrible. I don't know. You guys want me to show emotion?
Well, no,
I'm
I
just
mean,
dead inside.
It's just so obvious that the Catholic Church, I think, is being particularly targeted. And the obvious answer is, not happy. But Pope Leo calling for an immediate ceasefire is of course, I would hope that would be the case after all of this, at least.
Yeah.
Well,
it's just interesting seeing the cope,
What? What's the cope?
the Joel Berry cope.
What did Joel Berry say? Do we have that in there?
I don't know if we put it in there, but I saw he was basically saying that It's like, well, they're in a war. There are civilian casualties.
Did he really say that?
Yeah,
would
he
go
was
to that.
basically taking the side of the IDF and bombing Christians. Like,
Someone in the chat goes, no churches have been destroyed in Gaza. That's a democratic hoax.
Trump be like,
Like,
Trump
that's
be
a
like-
cope, okay?
Trump be like, actually, it was the Nazis.
It was
Nazis
the
destroyed-
democratic Nazis.
He didn't say this. Let me bring this up here. If you want to read that, Anna, we'll bring it up on the screen. Full
Actually,
screen
it was
there.
Hamas.
We'll check that out. Bring it up. If you can bring up my screen here, Sam, go ahead and read that. Anna, if you want to read it up on the screen there.
Oh, they didn't destroy it. A stray tank round took off a small piece of the steeple during the ongoing war against Hamas. Maybe we can also talk about the thousands of Christian churches that were completely obliterated by Christian allies and Germans.
Why do we need to
Why
talk-
would we
that
talk about
was-
that? That was decades ago. Do we really need to talk about that?
I love that. Can we stop talking
This
about
is
things
like-
that happened
that's-
75 years ago, please?
That's insane.
This
That's-
is like the what's her name? Oh, I'm forgetting.
It's like
her
the
name
USS
right
Liberty
now.
situation with Shapiro, and he's like,
Yeah.
that happened a long time ago. Can we just forget about it?
That was
You
the
know what
JFK files.
You know what
Yeah,
we need to
the
do?
JFK.
You know what we need to do, actually? We need to create, for every one of these things, someone needs to make a cartoon where, like, in every city, we need to have an Epstein file museum, a USS Liberty museum, the churches in England. We need to take everything that happened and was destroyed or hurt for any time in the last 100 years and make museums everywhere. Like tons and tons of museums. We have little pebbles of the stones that broke off from the church steeple, stray tank rounds, just like on the side with like audio, like you put on little headphones. It's like, this is the sound that priests heard inside of the church before it was destroyed.
Well, it's just
Have
like
you ever
it's
gone
like
to one
an
of those
Anna
things?
Kasparian moment where it's like you guys are just like a one-trick pony. It's
Yeah.
like every single time. It's like, well, what about the Holocaust? It's like, dude,
it's like they
the
are-
Christians in Gaza didn't commit the Holocaust or do
Yes, they
like
did.
burn
They're walking
churches. It's like,
memes.
shut
they?
up.
like
It's a meme
every
yeah.
time. Like it's like, and we say that, we literally say it every time because it's true. They can't shut up about the Holocaust, and it's also hilarious that you're referencing something that happened like decades ago.
Well, I think they shouldn't, by
Just
the
in
way.
general.
I think they should continue to talk about it. So much so, I actually think that we should shut up about the Epstein files and just start talking about the Holocaust again. You know what I mean? That's what I think. Because actually, Trump is right. So Trump actually called the president, called Netanyahu to talk about this. And I just got to say, I do agree with that, because anytime we're talking about anything else other than World War II revisionist history, then we're not talking about World War II revisionist history. So we need to make sure that we open up time for that, including the fact, if you're ever arguing with your wife and you're tired of it and she's speaking to you, you say, hey, we could be talking about the Holocaust and the horrors that were done to Jewish people 75 years ago. Do you really want to waste your time talking about the fact that I didn't pay the electric bill? You know what I mean? Is that really? They didn't have electricity
Hey,
in Auschwitz.
it works every time. What are you gonna say? Like, we're not gonna talk about the
Yeah,
Holocaust?
you don't want to talk about this? What are you, an anti-Semite?
You can't
Actually,
just
can we
say,
talk
like-
about the Holocaust?
Like, are you supposed to say, like, I don't care about the Holocaust? Like, you can't say that, so you have to talk about
Correct.
it.
Correct. Listen to this. Here's what he said.
Good afternoon, Caroline. In Gaza today, Holy Family Catholic Church was struck by an Israeli shell.
Yes.
3 people were killed, 10 wounded. What is the president's reaction to that church coming under fire?
It was not a positive reaction. He called Prime Minister Netanyahu this morning to address the strikes on that church in Gaza, and I understand the Prime Minister agreed to put out a statement. It was a mistake by the Israelis to hit that Catholic church. That's what the Prime Minister relayed to the President, and you should look at the Prime Minister's statement that will become.
He's just like me for real. They're like, how does Trump feel about the church in Gaza? It's like, well, he's not positive. It's like, okay.
Oh, just like chilling.
Just like me for real. Like, not happy. That's for
yeah.
sure.
But you know what?
But I feel like I'm actually more sad about it than him, because I'm not the one,
Well, he's also the
supplying them
president.
weapons and everything.
Yeah.
So
Well, I want to know what Biden feels and Nancy Pelosi, because they're devout Catholics. I've also
Oh,
we
yeah,
haven't
for
received
sure.
we haven't received a comment from Gavin Newsom yet, who himself is a devout Catholic. So much so that he's a theological debater. He actually went on debate against John MacArthur. So, I mean, that's pretty crazy. A lot of people don't believe John MacArthur was a true teacher. Think he was Protestant heretic. But they didn't debate him. So we got to leave it to our theologians like Joseph Biden, sorry, Nancy Pelosi, and the other examples of Catholicism in our church. But you had a point here.
Muted here. Okay. Actually, I was pulling up the history of Israel, but yeah, we've had a lot of churches destroyed actually in Gaza to kind of combat what that person was saying before. But a few of the videos we have, which are really heartbreaking to see, is one, they actually have the church previous in the morning right before the attack, and then we can actually see the funeral after. So it's really sad to see. Let me go ahead and pull it up here. I don't know if Sam has control of that.
I don't think if you didn't set it up for him, then he doesn't have control.
Okay, well, I highlighted a few things for you on there.
Okay, I'll bring that up. But before we jump into that, I want to remind you guys something very, very, very important. I'm going to take a quick break from this to remind you guys that, we're obviously a startup. Everybody knows that we are, trying to form a network that's able to talk about this stuff. We're able to talk about Epstein and not tell you guys to just drop it, right? And we're doing that because you guys support us directly through super chats, through memberships, and also through advertisers. And one of our advertisers today is wanting to remind you guys that crypto is making big waves today. And, it's pretty compelling what's happening. XRP is going up. A lot of these alternate coins are going up. I've lost money, too, on coins. So it's a volatile system. You don't always win. Sometimes you lose, but sometimes you win big. Now, you've likely heard about companies like MicroStrategy or Tesla adding Bitcoin to their balance sheets. This is a part of a Bitcoin treasury strategy where businesses hold crypto as a long-term store of value or a hedge against inflation instead of just cash. It's just a significant shift in how companies manage their reserves. Here's where it gets interesting. Hyperbit Technologies, trading under HYPE in Canada and HYPAF in the USA, is carving out a unique path. Rather than simply buying Bitcoin, they're mining digital assets like Dogecoin, Litecoin, and others using high-efficiency, renewable-powered operations. By generating crypto as their core business, they've built a self-sustaining treasury model. They're not just speculating, they're deploying next-gen mining rigs and leveraging low-cost hydroelectric energy to stay profitable and sustainable. This positions them to hold, reinvest, or use their crypto to fuel expansions. For investors, Hyperbit offers a way to gain exposure to the crypto market. Now, they mine, buy, and secure digital assets, making them a diversified play in the space. Links in the bio. Check it out. Don't forget to read the disclaimer as well. But if you want to trade a company that's not just trading crypto, but they're actually mining it, that's pretty interesting stuff. Check it out. And remember, again, trading is a volatile system. This is not financial advice. Look at the disclaimer in the bio. Now, this being said, you did bring up a couple other points here. I do want to jump into sort of the next story here, which is interesting.
We also have some super chats.
Yeah. I know, but I just want to read a couple of these things that you put in for the story before we just switch out. One of the things is that Marjorie Taylor Greene is introducing Amendment 114 to HR 580 that would cut $500 million to Israel's missile defense, saying that they are a nuclear-armed nation. I just think it's interesting that people in Congress other than Massey are suggesting that we cut funding. I want to remind you, I think Marjorie Taylor Greene has received $0 from AIPAC. Am I correct on that? And she is a evangelical Christian, so it is hard to understand where she's coming from. But listen to this.
Mr. Speaker, as the House considers the defense appropriation bill today that costs the American people $831 billion, it's important to talk about that this is the funding for our great men and women serving in our military and our nation's defense. The Department of Defense's mission statement is to deter war and ensure our nation's security, and that is worthy of the American people's hard-earned tax dollars. However, the American people are $37 trillion in debt, so this is money that is being spent that they already don't have. My amendment would strike $500 million in funding for nuclear-armed Israel's missile defense system, and it's important to phrase it that way. Israel is a nuclear-armed nation, which is very capable of defending themselves, and they have been proving that so as we've watched on the world stage. The U.S. already provides Israel with $3.8 billion annually in foreign aid. $3.8 billion, that's a lot of money. Additionally, the April 2024 security supplemental included $8.7 billion for Israel. That is nuclear-armed Israel. And during the recent 12-day war, the U.S. used 15 to 20% of our terminal high-altitude area defense missiles stockpiles defending nuclear-armed Israel, which cost us over $800 million. The $500 million provided in this bill will fund Israel's, that is nuclear-armed Israel's, missile defense system, the Iron Dome, David Sling, Arrow system. Yet Israel is a nuclear-armed nation. That's a pretty big deterrent for any of their enemies. Any nation that has a nuclear bomb has the greatest threat against their enemies. U.S. aid typically accounts for 15 to 20% of Israel's defense budget, even though Israel, nuclear-armed Israel, has universal health care for their citizens and subsidized college for their citizens. They're able to provide that. However, here in America, we're $37 trillion in debt. My amendment to strike $500 million in foreign aid will ensure an America First Department of Defense, and that is exactly what we need and we haven't had for a very long time. Mr. Speaker, I reserve.
Gentlelady reserves.
All right, here we go.
Mr. Speaker.
And people say they don't want blonde women in politics.
Who is saying that?
I'm just saying.
I think it was they want no women in politics.
I
so I
prefer
think
that,
that's
and I
kind of
think
what we
that's
were
totally
going
justified.
for.
I'm
Yeah.
joking.
But just my opinion. Take them out.
You know what's fun? I told you our chat. Now it's, by the way, the Rumble chat is always just gay comments about me for like years. That's all it is. And like Hennessy gets pulled in too. But now the YouTube
I'm
comment,
getting pulled in with you now.
Well, they've
Usually
always been.
it's you and Mendoza.
No, but you do too.
Ah.
But you've been getting pulled in recently, and Joey, of course, is getting assaulted. That's what.
Well,
those
that's
usually are.
hashtag. Yeah.
Yeah, but now it's seeped into the YouTube, which we're new on YouTube. And it's now on YouTube, and it's like Eli is well known in the Sydney gay bars. Like I'm starting to see these comments come in.
Yeah, there's like new people in there,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Oh, is this true?"
Of
By
course
the
it
way,
is.
we
Of
need
course
to
it is.
we need to say shout out to Earl Grey because it's his birthday.
Oh yeah.
Ah, happy birthday, Earl Grey.
Happy
there-
birthday!
Happy birthday, Earl
31,
Grey.
31.
So there's actually a birthday song that is
Oh.
there's actually a birthday song. This is kind of a break. I know it's kind of like, like a lot of times you guys know we try to be very serious here, but there's actually a song from the Australian government it's not, you could call it a birthday song because it's to the Aboriginal people who are Australians, right? They're the real Australians. The whites are just invaders. Just want to remind you guys that. Sorry. So we don't want to say happy birthday to colonizers like Earl. We want to say happy birthday to the real Australians. And what better way to say happy birthday to help them to live a longer life? Here is a government-created song reminding Australians, real Australians, not to do something. Right? Dude, that's what they're spending tax dollars. That was just a little Australian reference for Earl.
That's
ladies and
terrible.
gentlemen.
Those are the weirdest looking
birthday
people.
present.
No, they're the most beautiful looking people.
That-
Please correct yourself. Currently trying to get into that country.
Yeah.
Come
Oh,
on.
I'm
We've
sorry,
already
they're
been blocked
beautiful.
once. We don't want to get blocked again.
Yeah,
on the next one.
we're trying to go back in October. Still working with the a little update on that, by the way. I did mention to you guys, I don't want to get too much into the details, but I'll give you an update on the Australia debacle on our locals only section. So if you've been interested in finding out about this debacle, this international issue, similar to what Candace Owens went through with the government of Australia, I'm currently fighting. You got to stick around for the locals only section. However, remember, it is a membership, so join at ElijahSchaefer.locals.com. Shout out to the Australians, all their birthdays who live another year because they're no longer sniffing petrol in a can. That's just an oldie but goodie here. All right, just changing topics here. We need to talk about something. I'm gonna go to topic 3 instead of topic 2, just because I thought this was really interesting. Interesting story, and we want to try to bring up interesting things people aren't talking about. Where you're finding, if you guys remember the Palisades fire that went on in California, what a devastating thing that was. And I was always really mad during that time because everyone's always like, they deserved it, it's LA. And it's like, meanwhile, Palisades is like more white than any city in Texas. It's like beautiful, pristine, fantastic. And people are like, I thought LA was horrible. It's like, well, you saw the creator go to Skid Row, and Skid Row is horrible, but most of LA, especially West LA, is absolutely beautiful. Corrupt, but man, LA is a nice place. You saw when we switched into Beverly Hills from Hollywood or West Hollywood, like you go across the street and then it was beautiful, right?
Oh, it's night and day. And when we were there, you could see as soon as you entered into Beverly Hills, I mean, the change was crazy. It was really sad to see how LA is now too, because you could see the architecture was actually beautiful back in the day. You could see the vision that they had for LA, but it's gone downhill completely. And with this new bill that they're trying to pass, SB 549, basically in the Palisades, what they want to go ahead and do is they're putting a certain group of people to watch over the rebuilding of it. People that aren't really elected, they weren't chosen by people that live in California, and they want to take 40% of the rebuild and actually hand it over to low-income housing. So,
Which means that you will experience multiculturalism on levels you've never expected. You wanted landscaping, not landscapers. Do you know what I mean? Like it's true. It's true. Listen to this. Here's them talking about this. So they're taking this pristine area and they're turning it into a socialist commune. Listen.
Hey, Pacific Palisades. I wanted to take a minute and do a quick check-in about some legislative efforts by the county and state that could directly impact recovery and rebuilding. A couple of weeks ago, LA County's Blue Ribbon Commission released a set of recommendations, some of which are really good ideas and could help us in the long term. But one of the commission proposals, which has now been taken up as Senate Bill 549, to create a resilient rebuilding authority, raises a lot of concerns I want you to be aware of. What they're proposing is a separate government entity to be comprised of political appointees, not people elected by you, who would have centralized authority over construction permitting, development, land acquisition, and other key decisions that will shape the future of the Palisades. Why am I concerned? For one thing, SB 549 was based on only one formal meeting by the commission with a handful of residents. And that's just not how we roll in CD11. We make decisions as a community based on extensive engagement when we have all of the information in front of us. I'm also concerned because the proposal would eliminate city involvement, mine and yours, by shifting critical decisions around land use, zoning, permitting, and design standards to the new agency. I don't want to be sidelined from the conversations and decisions, and I don't want you to be steamrolled by people you didn't elect to represent your interests. I'm open to the possibility of creating a regional authority who can help us finance and deliver big infrastructure projects, secure materials and labor, and protect the Palisades from land speculators and developers. If you care about what happens next, I urge you to take the time to review the commission report and SB 549 and provide thoughtful feedback to my office, Supervisor Horvath, and Senator Allen. The state has only until July 7th to make amendments to SB 549. Thanks, everyone, and I'll see you over the 4th of July.
All right.
So that kind of just sums up California for you right now.
Yeah, it sums up a woman, a lesbian, telling you that, you know, they're going to put 40% of the people that, like, okay, low income housing. Let me just reiterate this. I have a family member, that's all I'll say, who's a big lib, and they happen to live in the widest area of a large city. You know what I mean? A very diverse city. It's all white people. Beautiful home, by the way. Extremely wealthy. I don't blame them. And I was like, they were talking about how, like, I'm racist, you know, and stuff. Like, it's a bad thing, you know? And then they explained to me, they're like, you know, hey, by the way, it's a joke. It's a joke. I would never be racist. They go, you know what? I'm sorry. I apologize for being, for coming across racist to you. I don't want to come across racist. This is very, very rude. I'd like to become an activist for multiculturalism, and I'd like to get a low-income housing development, multi-story, 40, 60 room, just, there was a plot of land down the street. I said, right there, I'm going to start raising money to get a low income housing, unit, to start raising awareness, to bring in for immigrants, for just newfound immigrants. I've never heard someone like become a Republican so quickly. It's like, no, there are areas for that. They have those. The government has those, and it would lower the home value here. And obviously we have little children. I was like, yeah, so your street needs to say, oh, so it'd make it dangerous, huh? So you're like worried about what? Your crime and financial problems. And I just found out today, New York in the last year spent, or maybe it was not last year, maybe it was the last 2 years, but they spent $6.9 billion on illegal immigration, the one city.
That's crazy.
Anyway, that's all I was going to say. It's like, it's just so funny with this stuff.
Well, that's what's happening all over California. I know because I've had a little bit of involvement. Okay, Elijah wants to argue about it again.
No, he was just, you guys talking at the same time. There was not even you go first. It was just like, I'm going, bitch.
You always do tell me to do that because I usually let people talk over me. But anyway, yeah, they're doing that all over California.
I am way too polite on this show.
Yeah.
I try.
You guys spoke at the same time, and usually it's always awkward. Like, oh no, you go. It's like, Keep going. But anyway,
Hey, I'm trying to get back my time when I would join remote, and I just like didn't talk the whole episode.
she's been on Jubilee too much. Where it's like, time, go. Which, by the way, she has a new Jubilee coming out. Just so you know, when does it come out?
Sunday.
And we have some people from the Jubilee
Oh,
episode
yeah.
coming in on Monday.
Some people you guys might know if you're chronically online in the right-wing political world. You'll know some of the
Can we just
people
say
on there.
who it is?
I know, but it's kind of fun to like.
Well, we want to promote it.
Yeah. Well, we have like Pine Sap.
And Pine
We
Sap.
have Kai Schwemmer.
I don't think he's coming on.
Oh.
Oh my gosh. 5 minutes ago, I was like, hey, Kai's not coming on Monday. She's like, we have Kai Schwemmer.
Well, Pine Sap's coming on here. I thought you meant who's on the Jubilee thing.
Oh, yeah. No, on the Jubilee, but then Pine Sap's coming in
Yeah.
in person
Pine
in
Sap's,
studio.
Yeah, Pine Sap's coming next week because it's probably going to go viral, guys. There's going to be some clips from this debate. He did a great job. And yeah, anyway, so he's coming on the show. Some more people, you guys. Oh, Hermes is on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Can I just say this for us? Hermes, who wrote today on X, I'm pretty extreme. And he's like, I saw a mixed race person walking down the street. I threw up in my mouth.
It's like
That was the whole tweet.
holy optics. Holy optics.
Right? And even he's looking, I'm like, oh, I even said, I go, wait, I don't, like, what? Like,
Is he being like hyperbolic? Like that's kind of funny if that's unless he's
No.
being
no, he's being serious. That's like pretty, wouldn't you say, Mike? It's like, it's like,
I don't
there's
think
like,
that happened.
There's like
I don't
mixed race
think-
people that work here in the studio, and it's like, imagine
I'm
imagine,
just like,
Not
I'm
if you
throwing
ask
up
them.
every
They're
day.
all white if you ask them.
his mic's a little hot. If you can bring him down a couple
We
decibels.
see that all the time.
Well, like, isn't every Mexican is mixed race? So
Well, so is American, technically. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah,
we're
that's
all,
true.
But anyway, sorry. Okay, you were making a point though, and then we'll go to Hennessy here.
yeah, I don't know. We have lots of people. If you guys know, like Lance Videos, he's on it.
Oh, I know Lance.
Daniela.
Yeah, but
I don't remember her
off
last
that
name,
topic,
but
back
yeah,
to what we
anyway.
were saying. To the
Oh yeah,
land,
California.
the 40% new
Well,
households
yeah, this
are
is what.
homeless.
So Sacramento will force cities to basically accept this low-income housing in the nicest areas, and the people aren't really allowed to vote on it. In the cities aren't really allowed. There's been some different court cases, and the cities aren't even really allowed to say no to the state when it comes to just like forcing them to build low-income housing, and then they'll just ship homeless people from LA. So you can live in a nice town, and then they're just going to build a giant apartment building there and ship a bunch of homeless people right next door. And they're doing this to all like the nicest areas, like in like Newport Beach, Huntington Beach. There's been a lot of problems there, all over Orange County, and I'm sure all over the state as well. So it's really annoying. And that's why local politics matters too, because people like to think that it doesn't. But what happens like on the city level, if you can try to stop that, is so important, because they're basically causing the decline of the entire country by spreading basically the worst parts of the society everywhere and just ruining every neighborhood. I hate it.
Yeah,
That's what affects people the most, really. Like
No,
that. Yeah, that's probably going to affect you more than the Epstein files, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing in the Palisades was a shit show, though. A few people here I see in the chat are mentioning how the fire hydrants were completely empty. It was because the reservoir got emptied out at the time. They wanted, I guess, Gavin Newsom wanted to help save some fish, so they made a bunch of changes. And then also DEI hires were put in charge of, being firefighters. So they didn't even have the equipment that was needed at the time to help put out the fire. And one of the biggest questions that happened at that time, a lot of people were like, okay, are they going to turn this into a land grab? It's the same thing they worry about in Hawaii. It's the same thing we worry about in North Carolina. And as we can see here now, what they're doing is they're trying to change the demographic and bring it more towards of a welfare state, which is easier to control.
Mm-hmm. I want to say this real fast. As we mentioned earlier, shout out to Earl. Doomsday Cracker sent $1 in and sent in this meme here of Earl Grey. Just that's a very, 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 we condemn it. Everyone, we condemn this meme. That's
When's the last time Earl even came on the show? I've never been on the show with him at the same time.
What's crazy is like, I'm not joking, because obviously he's not an American, so I've had to pay a lot of money and work really hard to get him a visa to work here. It cost me over $10,000 to just get him a visa to work here, to pay taxes here. There's like a visa, I have to like lodge, you have like a $60,000 bond and everything. And that's like to get an Australian who, by the way, Earl graduated from the top university in Australia with high marks, like has no criminal record, is like, worked with some of the largest software development companies, like internationally worked around, created films for like Facebook, everything around like in Germany, and like this great reputation. And then, it's like, actually, it's going to be very hard to get this man to work here. And then it's like, this is why I'm against illegal immigration. It's like, this is stupid. I can't even go to Australia. It's like, you know, but if you're Indian and come on a boat, they're like, oh, come in, sir, please work at Sing Hortons. And it's like,
sir.
yeah, but they're intentionally trying to stop us from being involved. Anyway, a couple more super chats as well. We have YouTube. We have no super chats yet on YouTube, which is an unfortunate. We should have got a womp, womp,
wait,
womp.
Yes, we did.
I don't think on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
Do we?
Wait.
No, I don't think on YouTube.
Wait. Sorry.
Just on if you want to read the super chat, Sarah, you can go to the top. I think
Okay,
we have.
sure. Let's go.
Remember, so for our new for our intern, it's air horn for $5, air horn and claps and confetti for 20, but just air horn and confetti for 10. You get no claps for 10, and then for 100, somebody removes an article of clothing. Thank God someone today is wearing a jacket. You don't have to keep it off the whole time.
Is there a way to only
Right.
see the super chats? Like press something that only shows you that? Or not?
No, they do not have the ability to do that on
Okay. Anyway.
it's Rumble.
Okay, Bloodshot 567 sends $5 and says, Elijah, whatever you do, do not let our Aryan queens Anna and Sarah go, please.
Okay, there you go.
Were you considering letting us go?
No.
Bloodshot
did this
knows
happen?
something we don't.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say real fast. That's just a little shout out though in terms of traveling. We're about to be building a very nice studio for Rift in Dallas. This is our first studio. We're actually building one in DC as well. So Rift is gonna have. It's kind of crazy how it's growing. We're gonna have a studio bureau in DC and in Dallas. So if you're like talented or somebody you ever want to join remote or like you know anyone that's like ever needs to be on the show in one of our studios, we literally are building
Wait,
studios.
who lives in Texas?
Dr. Peter McCullough and Nicholas Herschel.
Oh,
Right.
great additions.
Yeah.
He does great work. Reporting.
Yeah,
There's
so-
something new happening at this company every day. It's hard to keep
Well,
up.
I think we're trying to start a show. I'm trying to start a show called State of Emergency for the Wellness Company. But of course, just like we're creating the DC Dive, which we'll talk about later for the Gateway Pundit, it's the DC Dive and the Gateway Pundit, but you'll see it'll have our logo in the corner like that. You know, like it's powered by us, but we're kind of be creating shows for the right wing because a lot of these companies that know how to create shows are too busy gatekeeping and not getting views on their own shows to really think about expanding. Just a reminder that originally Candace Owens was with The Blaze, right? Matt Walsh, The Blaze, right? These people all like started out, with these companies, and then they moved, and then The Blaze used to produce the show for PragerU, and they all used to work together. You know what I mean? And so, God bless all of them. But I'm hoping that we bring these people in, and I think moving in our more serious direction, having a medical show with some reputable doctors is like a very, very good idea. Anyway, moving down the line, I think Anna, if you want to read the next one, we got one for $5 from Farm Friend Groiper. Oh well, I don't know if we want to bring this up, but go ahead.
Am I reading it?
Yeah.
What did Sarah do to Isabel Moody? Says Farm from Groiper.
I think that's unnecessary drama. I think there's no drama
Nothing.
there. No, there's no drama there. They're a great couple, and we throw our support to them. And I think Sarah and Isabel have no issues. Am I correct on that one?
Whatever you say.
All right, that is what I say. Moving along to the next one. For $100.
Let's go.
Homer J. Fuentes. Can we get the music? Get some music.
NHH. Homer J. Fuentes.
He said, ready. Well, we can put it on the screen too, since that's pretty good. Bring that up. Homer J. Fuentes said, Israel repeatedly destroys churches, and all we get is a shitty press release. Let's
So
go!
true.
Just get that going. We're not going to do this. I can't take off my shirt right now.
Yeah,
I
leave
told
it
you
on.
there's 2 girls. We're not doing it.
Leave it on. I prefer we always leave it on.
No. Making Braden do that is like
I guess the
actually kind
intern
of.
didn't agree.
Honestly, we used to do it all the time for $100 super chats, and so someone's like, "You used to do it," and like it's true. But like making like John Doyle or people do stuff like that was like always hilarious.
But I
Like,
love how we have morning meetings. And you're like, okay, this show we're going to be much more serious. Everything's going to be on point. We're going to stay on track.
But
Right
$100
into it,
is
it's like,
$100.
yeah, it's like
$100 is $100. I'm just saying, people do less do more for less. Zesty Aid says, "Welcome back, Elijah and Mike. Good job on the interview." Oh, us. Okay. Props to Anna for holding the fort down. Give Braden a steak fund for being outnumbered, and not to. Braden actually requires that we buy him Chipotle every day when he comes
yeah,
in.
he loves Chipotle.
It's like not
Don't
even
forget his
Oh, now I
vinaigrette.
want it.
If he
That sounds
does, he
good.
has
Yeah.
a hissy fit. But yeah,
This is like not a
I
joke.
have seen him eat Chipotle every single time I've been in the office with him. So that makes sense.
And he'll be here tomorrow as well. So we
He
got
will
him
be
back.
eating Chipotle, I'm sure.
Go ahead. Read Randall Flagg.
Randall Flagg sends $5, says, adding Anna is a huge W for the show.
Let's go. It's an air horn.
Thank you.
Anna, if you ever want to visit me, I have a coupon for free tendies at Popeyes
Wow.
from T-Mobile Tuesdays. And you can see my Transformers collection. My DMs are always open.
Wow, I don't think I can turn that down. That's quite an offer.
Not the
Renegger
free
said,
tendies.
"I'm not reading that for $2." That's what he said. Like, if you want me to like read that and start shit with like people accusing people of rape and stuff, like I could read those comments for like $100, but I'm not gonna do that.
I'll read it.
No, we're not. We're not reading it on air. I mean, we're
I'll
not,
read it.
No, that's why I was like not gonna read the $5 because it's like if like I don't mind if like that's what I said. If you want to like start shit or something, but if you're saying like $50 or $100, like okay. You're putting your money
I
where
was
your
gonna
mouth
say,
is.
hey,
But when
we'll
it's like
talk
$2,
about,
you're like,
talk about
start a
that.
war.
Well, why don't we just talk about that tea on locals and they have to subscribe to get the full tea?
no, because we don't talk about tea on the show. It's against the
I think
standard
we're
of the
trying
show.
to stay away from that. And Earl's not here, so there's no more tea.
Yeah, we literally have. I have a rule on my shows that we like, especially because that tea involves someone else who didn't voluntarily release that information and it's untrue. I found out 99% of tea is untrue, except for Earl Grey, which always has a little bit of truth in it. No, but I find that it is. I don't. We'll leave that for the girls to talk about. I don't like talking about people's personal lives at all. Period. Ever. Whether you're on a jumbotron on a Coldplay
Unless it's
concert
James
or not.
Lindsay.
Correct.
Yeah.
No, I said. But I have the rule. if you publish your personal
That's
life
true.
like voluntarily, it's no longer your personal life. It's now your public life. So someone like themselves, like James, says, "Here's what me and my daughter do," and then his daughter comes out and says, "We do that." Then it's like
That's public.
Now
Yeah,
it's
that's
public
fair.
life. But if like,
Yeah.
but if his daughter just comes out and says, "Here's what my dad does," I still wouldn't talk about it because it's like that's inappropriate. It's like
Yeah.
he didn't
Yeah.
voluntarily divulge the information. All right. But this bill is. Let me just get back to this bill real fast. This is actually kind of crazy. So they're buying this low income property in burned areas for low income housing. They're trying to destroy the city. And Sarah and I had a disagreement earlier, and I was saying that the parliament, not only in the state, but LA City Council is run by a communist group. There was a plant from the CIA. It's not even a joke. If you look at Karen Bass, look at her history, just like the BLM people were trained by CIA connected communist groups. Karen Bass is actually like a CIA agent, like a communist plant. It's like this is not even like I'm not even like one of these MAGA people. It's like she's a communist plant. It's like no, it's like actually they intentionally keep California divided, and it's like it's a mob, and it's insane. And so when you see stuff like this, it's literally suicidal to us who are capitalists, who are Christians, who are love our country, nationalist patriots. But if what you want is the destruction of a hierarchical system, if you want egalitarianism to thrive, this is your person. Listen to this by KFI AM 640.
There is another bill. It's new, moving through the legislature, that will allow the city of Los Angeles to buy lots in the Palisades to build low-income housing. Senate Bill 549. Are you listening to me? If you're in the Palisades, Senate Bill 549 would allow property taxes to fund what lawmakers are calling resilient rebuilding authorities. Boy, doesn't that sound like something out of the Soviet Union? Resilient rebuilding authorities. These are government agencies that could buy, and this is at LA Magazine, the ruined land and get loans to rebuild. And 40% of the funding must be earmarked for building multi-unit, low-income housing on lots where single-family homes once stood in Altadena, Pacific Palisades, Malibu, and other areas. This is separate from Gavin Newsom and is $101 million to build more low-income housing. So now you have two major low-income housing programs that have been launched within a week.
All right. So very, very interesting stuff. I want everyone's final conclusion on this. The conspiracy theorists are right again. Why did they let certain cities, why did they let the Palisades burn? People were asking that. Why was there no water? Why would they let this place burn down? It seemed intentional. I think this is evidence, at least. But people always go, well, it's not evidence. This is not causation. ChatGPT. But yes, in my
Dean Withers.
in my personal experience of understanding how politics works, you do let bad things happen to good people in order to accomplish diabolical goals. That's what it seems like they did here to get their to get rid of another high income area and make it equal opportunity.
Yeah, as I mentioned before, I mean, it kind of ties in. That was one of the big concerns that we had, is that they were going for a land grab in California because of all the negligence that they had.
The what?
Negligence.
The what?
Butchered that word, but that they had. And the same thing we've seen in the Carolinas with, everything that happened there with the storm that came through, the hurricane, how the people were left stranded. They allowed everything to be destroyed. And also with Hawaii, the same thing, the alarms weren't going off at the right time. It was really bad management. And we know land grab has been going on for a while. We've seen that with BlackRock taking up a lot of the property. We also seen other major corporations coming in, swooping in, taking over everything. And even the government itself has bought, a lot of land across the United States to go ahead and transform it into whatever their image is. So it's very unfortunate. This is not going to be good for that area. I did grow up in low-income housing myself, but, what it's going to do is going to change the demographic. It's really going to bring everything down.
And that being said, just a reminder, just ABC News, right? Isn't that is it the 17th today? They're still monitoring the seismic activity in Alaska. Just a little update. I don't know if we even covered that yesterday. I wasn't here, but the 7.3 magnitude earthquake that everyone's really concerned about that happened in Alaska. I don't know why that can't zoom, but yeah. Just so you guys know that happened, right? And I was monitoring it yesterday, but we try to talk about news that's happening right now. I don't believe there was any tsunami that occurred. I didn't see any evidence of that, but I know that they're still monitoring. They're saying it could be a pre-shock, right? So just remember to say prayers today for the people in Alaska, right? It's only a few miles off of a major island.
That would be such a cold tsunami. Can you imagine how cold it would be?
I'm pretty sure all tsunamis would be pretty cold,
but it's
unless
in
they were in a warm ocean.
Well, wouldn't it?
You're
earthquake.
You're getting hit with ice cubes.
Wait, no,
wait, Alaska isn't ice cubes.
The earthquake it happened in Alaska, right? So then the tsunami would happen.
It would go down to Seattle.
It wouldn't
and stuff,
be. Yeah, it wouldn't be in Alaska.
Well, it would also hit a little bit, but it would it would have an initial wave, but the force, with the bigger tsunami
it would be like
south.
California.
So it's gonna hit Canada.
And it would hit the West.
They're gonna get an
Coast.
ice cube tsunami up there.
They're hurling ice cubes on the tsunami victims. Do you know what's crazy, by the way? Because I know Hennessy was thinking the same thing, but
what are you gonna say?
I was actually thinking about something diabolical. It's like, because we're redoing the studio right now and building an actual set and stuff. And what if we just on one of the mics have an extra button where Hennessy sits that he can mute it, and he has a mute Sarah button?
Oh, why are you? Okay.
He's she talks. He goes,
Sarah, stop. Go make a pie.
Yeah.
Go make.
That's a pie making dress.
Was coming.
That's a pie making dress. It is it must be nice to be a girl because Henny and I, no one's ever asking us to make pies. Or being like, no one's ever saying, please don't go. Usually when we're off,
hey, I actually did make a pie last week, key lime. So.
Hey, I'm not joking with you though. On a side note, that would be good content. Like talking politics and pies. Like that's not a bad idea. But
okay.
Like it's like you're making a pie. You're like, so I put the strawberry down. Remember,
like
Israel has been striking
DeLuca
Christians in Gaza. No, but it's like funnier because you're like it's like no, as a joke. Like it's like you make like a cooking show and you're like, we're gonna go ahead and put down the strawberry spread here. And it's kind of a reminder of, I saw this video. It's like kind of like the blood of Gazan children, leaking out from the streets after the last, carpet bombing of a local
That
school.
sounds like the occupation of like an ex OnlyFans girl.
Yeah, no, that's what people talk about when they say it's like the trad wife vlog.
That's why people hate
Except for the fact that
I'm
it's
too
supposed to be
self-aware.
ironic and
Can I
funny.
say something that's
anyway.
like a little maybe controversial here? I actually think it's really cringe to like delve into like Sarah and I have talked about this, like delve in really hard into like the anti-feminist stuff as a woman. Sometimes I actually think it can be cringe. Just like,
what if it's just cringe to be a woman? Am I right, guys?
True. Well, true. But if you're gonna, but my point is, if you're gonna be here and you're gonna be like talking about politics, just do that and shut up about everything else, in my opinion, and then leave. Have your family and leave. But don't sit here and be like, well, women should do this and women should do that. It's like, isn't that kind of more masculine to be And like I make comments about those sorts of things too, but I'm just saying. Like,
don't both of you guys do that?
No, well we don't. That's not our only thing. We comment on a
multitude.
multitude of like we comment on geopolitics, we
That's
comment
true.
on domestic issues, like but there are people who like make it their whole thing to just talk about that.
Yeah.
So
Well, it's more like it's just cringe when your whole feed is like calling random women fat and stuff, because then it just looks like you're just doing that for male attention.
well, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like that sort of energy is just,
No, and that's you're entitled to your opinion, which of course, as a man, if I disagree, then I'm right. So that's
well, as
the
a man,
thing.
it's different. I'm saying when this only applies to women. Like if you're gonna be on the internet, I feel like it's cringe to make your whole thing just to talk about
I don't
women.
think. I think it's fine. I think it's fine to be like anti-feminist as a woman, and we actually need more women to do that.
No,
I just
sure.
Think,
I'm not-
I just
I'm not
think
hating
it's
on that.
cringe. I think it's cringe if you're like not just anti-feminist, you're also actually anti-woman. That's kind of cringe. It's just because it's just like then you're being a pick me.
You okay, buddy?
Sorry, I didn't mean to get off on this tangent.
Oh my gosh. No, I'm
Hey,
fine
it's
with
your
that.
fault. You brought two women on the show. What did you
I
expect?
think I'm gonna go
I
back
was-
to drinking. This keeps up.
I had a good, I had a
think-
good
Good. I
take.
haven't
All
been
right.
I
taking
think
for a while,
alcoholism is
but-
actually a smart solution
Yeah.
to the world. No, okay, but no, the
Making it sound good again.
jokes aside, the chat loved. I love the women taking something literally, like when they're like thinking like I'm literally want you to like put 50 grand into a studio to like do a cooking with politics, like pies and
No
politics.
one thought you were
Meanwhile-
serious about that.
Meanwhile,
No.
meanwhile, it's like I'm like have a show and I'm thinking like a great sketch where it's like you're like literally like making a pie and like dropping like horrible facts about like the Holocaust and stuff like that. Like it's like actually be funny in a dress. You're like it's like and it's crazy because you think about it. It's like you put it in the pie tin and it's like are wooden doors really able to contain gaseous materials? And it's like. You're like, okay, now 2 little folds and like just throw in the facts. I feel like that would actually be kind of funny, especially on like TikTok. That would go really good. That was,
It's only good if you're like self-aware while you're doing it.
Well, on that note, there's a super chat from Connect I Kid 82. Who makes a better
I'll
sandwich,
take one,
Sarah
too.
or Anna?
It's the one time
Sarah,
I don't
who do you
miss
think would
talking
make
about
the better
Jews.
sandwich, you
Normally
or
I'm like,
I?
all right, we need to get away from it.
Probably
And I'm like,
you.
Go back.
Wow, that was a nice compliment. Wait, me? Yes, I want his as in yes. Wait, I tried it the other day.
These are only 3. 'Cause
Okay, I tried 9s, which apparently is like crazy.
That would make me throw up.
No, I felt really nauseous. Well, the first time I was like, whoa, what is this feeling? And then the next time I did it, I felt really nauseous the following day. But I've never experienced, I mean, I don't do drugs, so I wouldn't really know what to compare it to. But that was the craziest feeling ever. Not that anyone here clearly cares, but anyway.
No. By the way, no. I do. Part of my shtick is tuning women out. You know what I mean?
No,
So it's
for
like,
sure, I get that.
No, but like,
You were all saying
Hey,
something.
as long as I get
thought-
paid.
yeah, it's like,
Guys,
but you
can
are
we
getting
just
paid.
stop fighting? Can we just stop fighting?
Mute.
Can we just stop fighting? Can we all get along?
Can we just be like Jews
Is
and
this
Muslims?
supposed to hurt? Because it always hurts.
It
when I-
tingles. Yeah, I mean it's supposed to be a little bit painful, but you just stick it in and then
okay.
yeah.
Someone said 9 mg's a lot, and I know, but I was like not trying.
It hurts a little when it first goes in, but you leave it
Can
there.
we not like zoom in on me
All
while I'm
right,
trying
back
to
to the
put
show.
this back?
All right. Well, I guess it
That's
could
all
come across
impolite.
suggestive, but I mean, I was trying to be realistic here.
Okay.
That was like a realistic comment. It does tingle a little bit.
No, it does. I did the wintergreen one. Well, it was a
Look,
It was
not
Tucker's
everything
brand.
is sexual, guys.
it was
Please.
Tucker's brand, but I feel like you can see it in my mouth and you can't see it in other people's.
Please, churches are being blown up.
I
Can we
look
get
like I
back to the
have, like,
topics? Thank you.
Herpes or
All right.
something.
Right back to it.
Right back to it. All right, that
Getting
being
derailed.
all right. Let me go back to the
Holy
topics.
moly.
All
It
right.
was actually less feminine when we had 3 women on.
Yeah, okay. I listened in.
Now we have
tuned
Elijah.
in for about 15 minutes, and we are like, why is there no sound on this episode?
Yeah, I couldn't. It was just a buzzing. I did hear Braden a couple times.
All right. Well,
All right, let's get into the next topic. Very important before we go into something very, very serious. There is an update on the Elmo situation. People did know that Elmo, obviously, we know about this. Elmo,
Elmo's
tell us
base.
about this. So Elmo got hacked. Am I right?
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
I don't know. Elmo's a little bit of a wild one. But yeah, so Elmo went on, or it was hacked, and someone went on Twitter and made a bunch of messages about, the Jews, and then also went ahead and talked about Trump releasing the Epstein file. I think we actually have a picture of what was said in there as well. If you go to it, just as a reminder.
What is? In the reminder of what happened.
Yeah, it just kind of shows you what was written at the time.
Yeah. Okay. So here's what he said. He said Elmo says all Jays should die. F the Jays. Donald Trump is Netanyahu's puppet because he is the Epstein files. Jays control the world and need to be exterminated. Release the files. Child effer, which is why he just said read this as a reminder to what happened. Kill all the Jays. That's what they said. By the way, and we always say we read this: condemn. This is evil.
Disavow.
We hate
Evil.
this.
Yeah,
Disavow.
yeah,
Horrible.
yeah. Terrible.
These people should be exterminated.
Wait.
Well, I'm just saying.
And
so then
Sesame
Elmo?
Street wrote an apology.
correct. So they wrote an apology. Why don't you read this, Henny, off the screen here? This is what they had to say.
It says on Sunday, Elmo's X account was briefly hacked by an outside party. In the spite of security measures in place, we strongly condemn that the inherent anti-Semitic and racist content and that the account has been secured. These posts in no way reflect the values of Sesame Street Workshop and Sesame Street, and no one at the organization was involved.
So I do love this because I think I need to find this here for a second. Don't go to my screen.
So
I was like,
basically,
don't
it
go to
means
my
that
screen.
Elmo got the call too.
Yeah, Elmo got the call, but there was something that happened a moment ago where Joel Webbin was supposed to be debating somebody from my understanding. Yeah, here it is.
All the Elmos in the chat. Let's go.
Joel Webbin said, Pastor Greg Locke has just informed Owen Schroyer, 1776, that he will not do the debate with me that he originally agreed to because he didn't like Owen's response to the Elmo
Oh my
hack.
gosh.
In other words, because Zionists know that they can't defend their position from the Bible.
Wait, what was Owen's response?
I don't know. I said, LeMayo, puppets causing so much harm. You know what I mean?
He was probably just like, LMAO.
You can take that off the screen too. I thought this was actually also funny. I don't know if I can bring this up, but you know, a lot of people were very upset about this Elmo situation. And,
Did you know Sesame Street is SS?
Oh my goodness, are you serious?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well,
it's all coming together now.
Someone should have commented that. You should have commented that.
Well, I wanted to look at one thing here. A very prominent person was very, very mad about this. And he explained very, very well right here. Here's where it is. He said, why is this zooming in like that? I don't know. He goes, still not a single word of apology from Elmo or team. Wow. And it's like I said, imagine
from Elmo. You're
imagine
asking
being
a puppet.
So I said, imagine being such a victim. You're asking a puppet to apologize, and they got 63,000 likes, which is like pretty damn good on like only 1.5 million likes. A couple people had something to say about this. People were like, he's making his rounds. He's made it. And if for the audio only, remember we are on podcast, Spotify. We're growing. You can download the audio only version, and you don't know what this is. It's a giant Elmo with Candace Owens. Look at this. And then, like, of course, people that support it are like, imagine being such a flaming pussy. You're a bitch and whine and cry over this. What a thin-skinned twat waffle. I don't know if we're allowed to say those words, but maybe. And then I always love this too. And it's like, you're not very creative. Just repeating what you've heard. Why bother? Mediocre. And then you go to the page and it's always this, you know? It's always this. And then you go down and it's like blocked. Like, dude, what is up with these? What is up with these? Like, are these bot accounts? Like, what are these?
That looks like a bot account.
Oh, I think I've seen that account.
But like, you go to it and
I mean,
you're
they
like,
all have the same
because
banner.
there's no way there's like
Yeah.
a real person out there who's like, whoa, look how sick this banner
that's
looks.
there are
base.
Indian people who think that's cool.
Yeah.
He's probably Indian.
Yes,
it's probably not
you
his
know
profile
what?
pic.
Yes,
real
that
picture.
is an Indian account.
Yeah, but I was gonna say it is funny that like on this stuff, can we talk about the absurdity of American culture? We'll go into the Comey's daughter story, which is really important, but like, can we talk about the absurdity? As we talk about the absurdity of this, I want to remind you guys, make sure you check out redpillthreads.com. It's an amazing sponsor. We love them. They're absolutely have the best shirts that you can get. You see there's some models on here, some of which may write things I disagree with from time to time. I'm just kidding. I know. I love all these people. But speaking of the Palisades fire, I have this shirt right here. It's the Burn Hollywood Burn unisex t-shirt. There's shirts that make a statement, but they're not cringe, you know? Like, no hate to the people here. There's some shirts I just wouldn't wear, and they're not my style. But and I'm not a big graphic teeth person, but I do think like a shirt like this is pretty cool. Like
I have that one.
You have the one too?
That is a cool one.
I also like where's this one? Oh yeah, we still think this one's hilarious. I wouldn't wear this either, but it's funny because I have like
Ooh, I want that.
the Brooklyn tunnel dweller.
I want that.
I would
totally wear that.
Yeah, you should wear that out in Boca Raton.
Yeah. I'll wear that. Yeah.
They call it actually being. It used to be called getting 86, or was it 86?
I'm gonna wear that on the show next
called being
time.
Boca Raton.
Actually,
so when you just accidentally end your life. They also have a bunch of Christian T-shirts as well, which I think are cool. Christ is King, and the rest of for all the Catholics. They have Christian imagery, some really funny like internet humor. They also have a Charlie and Ben T-shirt, which I actually want to get. This is actually hilarious. Look at this one. It's Charlie. It's Beavis and Butthead. That's like actually kind of funny. I mean, I like Charlie.
One.
I always repeat that. I honestly do like Charlie, but I just think it's like a funny shirt because it is like, come on, Charlie.
I just don't like the yeah, exactly. I don't like fake. Yeah,
cut the act, bro. Come on, man. We know, like, look at your own conference. People are on our side, and you have this one here, right, Henny? You have this one?
I have two. I have that one, and then I have the other one with Disney. It says propaganda, and it has like a trans flag and the Jewish star.
Well, get 10% off. Promo code RIF at
redpillthreads.com.
redpillthreads.com. Promo code RIF. Links in the screen in the description. All right, so just going back to this this tweet here. You're not very creative.
How Elmo got corrupted though?
No, let me see.
If you go to the doc, the enlarged
I didn't know there was
one.
more, so I didn't know the memes were related here.
Day 3 they have. Well, that's just Elmo when it was going on.
Okay, we can't play that.
Yeah.
All right.
The next one's when he got the call.
How long are we going to be able to stay on YouTube for?
Oh, this is when he got the call?
This is what happened when he got the call.
Okay.
We knew that one was coming.
He's about to speak at TV USA conference.
But the last one you have shows the buildup and why Elmo finally decided to go out and make these tweets.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it all makes more sense now.
Like, who's making these?
Honestly, really cool people, usually. You know what sucks, though, is like back when I used to have an audience, it was like, we used to have the show used to be really big on my old channel before it got taken down. And the sad part was, like, we actually had a lot of people, and we had a bunch of memers. But what would happen is then they would, like, blackmail you, like, but not like in a way. They would really build, like, this whole, like, meme army. They'd work together, and then all of a sudden they'd, like, DM you and be like, if you don't pay us each $1,000 a month, we're not going to do memes anymore, and we're going to, like, spread lies about you and, like, chats on Telegram. This is not a joke.
What?
And then I wouldn't pay them, and they started spreading gay PORN and stuff all in the chats and spamming and stuff because we wouldn't pay them to continue making the memes and stuff. So they would make all these memes, and then at least Fuentes' army, like that's why he doesn't allow comments and stuff in his Telegram, because that's what they'll do. They'll, like, hold you. That's not the only reason why, but, like, these people will come in and, like, demand stuff and then start spreading, like, nasty imagery like that. And it was like, it really ruined the Telegram. We had a really active Telegram. Then, like, 10,000 people left because you would go in there. Do you remember the saga of the Telegram where there was all the fisting stuff? And I mean this genuinely. I mean this just not even like to be gross or crass. It was like so sometimes these guys are really cool.
I don't want to know.
No, sometimes these guys are really cool and really based, but, like, they spend too much time on the internet, and so then, like, they think, like, men fisting each other is funny, and you're like, the average person doesn't think that's funny. And then I remember asking the guys that they were like, "Oh, well, you should."
Why does Sam look like he thinks it's funny?
I go. You should know. Sam also is the freaking worst. Sam, listen to me, Rosie.
Sam was the
Listen
one
to me.
posting it.
No, Sam. This is why Sam's the worst, because this would kill you, especially if you're trying to make a career. Sam's like 18 and, like, Gen Z, and, like, but at this point, you could, like, show him a video of a guy getting, like, chainsawed, like, his head cut off, and he'd be like, lol. You know what I mean? And so, like he's so dead from growing up on the internet. Like, we'll be in the car with someone who's, like, 45 who, like, doesn't know, like, doesn't understand, like, Gen Z humor or anything.
Gen Z humor is definitely, like, very specific.
Yeah, and I'll be like, yeah, I don't really, I'll try to make like a millennial joke. Like, I'll be like, yeah, Trump's right. This is hypothetical, by the way. This is similar to what happened. It'll be like, yeah, Pastor Greg Locke, let's go ahead and agree with Epstein, because, who cares about pedophiles? And then he'll be like, yeah, Elijah's actually likes pedophiles. Actually, there's a few pedophiles that work at our office, and we all, like, we love kids like Epstein loves children. And you're like, you'd be sitting in the car like, okay, and he's just, like, giggling to himself, like, like, laughing there, and you're going, Sam, I know you're not actually autistic, but this is the point where
I don't know
if the humor is translating to the guest here. He's 47, and then the guy will just be sitting there like, It's like Joel Webben was, like, one of them. He's, like, in the car, and Sam is, like, dropping these lines, and I'm like, thankfully Joel's, like, actually funny. And I was like, Sam,
well,
maybe
Elijah,
just watch out for a second.
You're the woke right recruiter.
That's true.
The woke right youth recruiter.
Youth
excuse
recruiter,
me.
yeah.
I actually
So-
wanted to announce that, by the way. Sam without saying any other details, no, I'm saying Sam is also, no, I'm saying Sam is also going to continue to intern for us and whatever. I know school's starting, all this stuff's going on, but we're really happy he's going to stick around, but he won't be here in the office. We will have a going away party for him and everything as well, too. So there will be a night, the last night, that you can drop super chats for Sam to wish him off on his journey. So all the super chats that night will go to him as well. So really appreciate that. Anyway, let's go on to a serious story. I do want to jump into something serious tonight that I do think is no, I do think is a really interesting story. It is an update on Epstein. I was pushing it back as far as possible because we've been talking about Epstein.
A lot about Epstein.
I just didn't want to talk about it up front. It's like, hey, but let's get into this. So someone in the chat said, see, I told you people don't even know. They're like, this is Elijah Schaffer, the guy who works for the Gateway Pundit. And they like, you have a show? People don't even know that. So yes, we have a show. This is a completely separate, by the way. Nothing on this show reflects the Gateway Pundit. This is not sponsored by the Gateway Pundit, and this show is completely independent. So I just want you to know that. But that being said, go ahead, and I'm going to put up on the screen if you want to read. Are you able to read that screen up there?
I can read it up here.
Let me see. I don't know if we can. Let me see.
Political earthquake.
What's going on with this? What's going on with this Zoom here? Sorry, it's like
DOJ fires Maureen Comey. I can't read the rest now, but.
Do you want me to read it? I can see it.
Yeah, go ahead.
But you have to scroll out to the headline.
Yeah, no, just read it. Just read the article.
Maureen Comey, daughter of James Comey, was fired as a federal prosecutor in the Manhattan U.S. Attorney's Office on Wednesday. It is unclear why Maureen Comey was fired. There was no specific reason given for her firing from the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Southern District of New York, according to one of the people who spoke to the AP on the condition of anonymity to discuss personnel matters, the AP reported. Recall that Maureen Comey filed the key court declarations to keep the Epstein files from being released under FOIA. And then, do you want to pull up the tweet? Or?
No, it's right there.
Okay.
It's embedded. It's Josh Gerstein. Great. Okay, listen to this.
Singularity achieved, he says. The Justice Department lawyer who filed the key court declarations to keep the Epstein files from release under FOIA was,
FOIA.
Wait for it, Maureen Comey, Sydney, Australia, and daughter of ex-FBI director James.
I think that's SDN. I think that's.
Wait,
like,
what does that mean?
I think that's has to do with the Department of New York, right?
I literally read that as Sydney, Australia, because it looks like.
No, I know, I do too. But
Yeah.
just to put it, Maureen Comey was a prosecutor in the 2019 Epstein case, the Ghislaine Maxwell case, and the Diddy case. I was going to say what we were talking about with Edward on the Edward Sizzle on the last episode was that the reason why Pam Bondi was elected to Attorney General was she did some sweetheart deals as well in covering up the Epstein case at a lower court in Florida, and then because of that, in order to commit that crime, was then promised a future role if the Trump administration won, of which now she's covering up the Epstein case on a national level, and in some ways an international level, we might say, since the alleged crimes primarily took place, I believe, in foreign jurisdiction, and money on international airspace and international waters. Going over to by the way, tomorrow let's try something new. Since I do sometimes introduce you as a co-host, when I do those nights, let's give you like a section like this, or like story 1 or story 2, and then you just like lead the whole section. You know what I mean? I think that's like good if like
good.
around the table, if people have their own sections.
If Sarah lets me talk, yeah, that'd be great.
Oh my gosh! Can I just say this though?
You guys get mad when I don't say anything, and then you get mad when I do say things.
Can I say something though? We all suck at reading, kind of. This is actually true on the show. Mm-hmm. She got anonymity wrong. You said something as well, and I said like 2 things wrong already tonight, and no one corrected me.
I don't think I've ever said anything wrong. Have I ever
That's
said
true.
something wrong?
Feel free to correct me, guys. I saw the chat like making fun of 2 words that I said like retarded. So if we get words wrong, you just put it in the chat. So let us know, because we don't want to come off uneducated. And so if we get words wrong, I'm not even joking. I do appreciate the corrections, and we do want to know if we get things wrong. Anyway, you really researched a lot about this. You know what was going on. Did your headphones cut out?
No, I was fixing the
That's
Okay,
kind of what
got
happens
caught
when
up.
you spend a lot of time just reading stuff online or in books, and you don't really like go outside those. You don't really know how words are pronounced.
That's
this
true.
whole show is what happens when you spend a lot of time on the internet and don't go outside.
Someone else said it's the
like you
Southern
become
District of New
autistic.
York. Southern District of New York, by the way. And I just want to clarify, Anna, you've done the show a lot. I hope you will. Do you know a lot of our humor? We're not actually like catty and mad at each other. We all just mess around.
We're
on
just
camera.
I mean,
Okay.
I've known all of, well,
Okay.
not really Hennessy,
Yeah, I
but
don't
I've
know.
known, well, I recently met Sarah, but I've known you for a while. So yes,
I was like, yeah, hopefully not. But anyway, go ahead and lead us through this, Henny, because you really did a lot of good research on this, and I want to get through everything you brought up.
I mean, really, I just had that and a few other videos, but Thanks, Sam.
This is the equivalent of like Sarah being like, I'm just paid to be here.
That's
like, you
pretty
did a lot.
much.
Anyways, not
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, no. They're basically pushing her out, you know. And the thing with her is, as we already mentioned, that she's also tied to the Diddy case. She's tied to the Epstein case. And a lot of what the Trump administration is saying now is that information was put into the Epstein files that are unrelated, that a lot of it's just pretty much like a hoax. And so what they want to do is they want to take out, quote unquote, the bad actors, so this way the truth can be exposed. But either way, I don't think we're going to get any truth from this. I know, as I mentioned on the previous episode, that they plan on putting a group of people together who are going to oversee it, like a committee. And they said that they're going to go through the files, and this way we can get the truth. But then you also have people like Caroline Levitt coming out saying that, you know, this is all pretty much just a hoax, the Jeffrey Epstein files. And the reason we can tell is that because the Democrats are pushing, you know, for the files to be released, which, you know, yes, the Democrats are probably using it to their advantage right now because they want to go ahead and they know that it looks bad on Trump. Trump's defending of the Epstein files being blocked. But, you know, all in all, these files do need to be released. So no matter what they say, you know, it's all just theater, pretty much is what we're running into.
Well, and I think what's crazy here, and I want to go to Anna on this, it is interesting to me that you find a lot of the same players at the top. And I always tell people, like, in this industry, because you're new to the industry, Sarah, and I know that you got your start literally arguing with people, and and so I know that there's going to be like, you want to
Well, not really.
Well, oh my gosh! All right, to be like combative, but I mean this genuinely. Like, there's a lot of things in this industry, a lot of bridges that I've burned that I do regret, and I've gone back and I've swallowed the humble pie and had to just tell people, like, no, like, for instance, like Milo and I obviously have had very public, you know, falling out and whatnot, and him and I were talking the other day. I don't release my private DMs, so we're to explain the inside of what we're talking about, but we were talking about, you know, doing a show together coming up soon, and just sort of letting the past be the past. And I give people a lot of chances and a lot of shots because I know that it's the same people around all the time, and eventually it's like you have to just kind of accept that these are the people who are the players. And it's, you know, it's like that in the media world, it's like that in the political world. But the problem with the political world is, unlike media, they wield real power. And so it is interesting when you see, you know, there's a big difference with someone like Milo or me that had some disagreements. I still don't understand where it started or why we had disagreements, but versus people like Comey's daughter, where it's like, dude, you have Comey, a former FBI director who's Trump said manipulated the Epstein files to implicate people who shouldn't be implicated. Dershowitz came out and said that he was falsely implicated in the Epstein case. And then we find Comey's daughter's involved. And then as they're collapsing, you know, we're hearing mixed narratives every day, right? The Epstein files don't matter. They don't exist. Then there's no client list. Then, you know, it's semantics. Well, we didn't say there's no Epstein file. We said there's no list. And then remember, there was no Epstein file, but we have hundreds of gigs of women being violated, or not, sorry, not women. It's not a Matt Gaetz statement. They're not young women. They're young girls being violated. Clarify that. Being criminally assaulted. But then we don't have any. But who's assaulting them? Yeah. Was Epstein assaulting women? And I actually brought up, this is very technical, but listen, I told someone, I go, security footage is like usually 480p, or like it's a low resolution and it's compressed. And so it's like very small file sizes. Hundreds and hundreds of gigs of non-HD footage, terabytes and terabytes, means you're telling me that this guy was assaulting so many women. You go, oh, well, security footage, if it's all on tapes, it could be hundreds of gigs. No. It was just what they saved, right? You don't save all security footage. You're saying they saved hundreds of gigs, terabytes, thousands of gigs worth of footage of girls being assaulted, and Epstein had the time at like 60 years old to do all that? In like all 40 rooms of his mansion? I'm saying, like, come on, guys. Like, somebody was sleeping with these girls. Somebody was criminally assaulting them. And we sit around and we're talking about who Andrew Tate assaulted or whatever. And it's like, can we stick to the real story here? Our elites, and I actually want to clarify, who was it that said this? He's like, why did nobody blow the lid off of? It was someone that was talking to Tucker, said, why did nobody blow the lid off and give the honest truth and say, I am being blackmailed to the FBI. I was told that somebody was overage. We were involved in a sexual altercation. I did not know criminally that I was violating any law. We have to blow the lid on this ring, because probably the people were not blackmailed because they went one time. You were probably serial visitors
Went a
that
couple
went and did it
times.
a lot of times,
Yeah.
knowing what was going on. There was no excuse. That's why this is so damning. I don't know if you agree with that, but I believe that.
No, I agree. I believe there was a lot more people on the island. Even Trump himself was trying to say that, there's a good chance that Bill Clinton was on the island and many others as well. But they keep changing up the story. So there's been accusations. These people come out. We know, what was the guy in England, the Duke, or what was his name?
The Prince Charles.
Prince
Charles.
No, wait, no,
Andrew.
Prince Andrew. Prince Andrew.
Okay.
Yeah, Charles is the king now.
Yeah, that's a whole different one.
But it could be him too.
Yeah. So I mean, and there's a history of it. Do I think there was other people there? Yes, absolutely, I do. A lot of footage was taken, but they go ahead and they're just trying to paint it as nothing happened. I mean, even which I'm not saying Trump did anything on the island. I don't know for sure of Trump, but I mean, even Trump's received accusations of being with people before. I believe her name was Katie Johnson was the name they were using back in 2016. Which was accusing Trump of actually, doing something with an underage girl. Could that all be fake? Absolutely, that could all be fake. It could be the fact that, he was running for president. They wanted to use a tool against him. But there's a lot of names that do come up, and I don't think it was all Jeffrey Epstein. And even Ghislaine Maxwell, whatever, her coming out, I'm not sure if we'll get a lot of information when she does come out and says what her side of the story. But there is a lot of nefarious actors for sure.
Yeah, if it was as simple as, oh, it's just Jeffrey Epstein behind this, then they would have released it a long time ago. I mean, it's so obvious that there's so many people implicated in this report, in these files. So, I mean, and their reaction is, I think we talked about this a little bit yesterday, but the reaction is more telling than anything else. Like, at this point, it's like, we don't even necessarily need to see the files to already be aware of the fact that all of this whole pool of elites were involved. And I mean, I don't know what could be more damning. And yeah, we're talking about the Andrew Tate rape situation and like, yeah, sure, I guess if that's something you want to focus on, but it's kind of interesting that's going on at the same time this is. And should that really be our focus when we're still, hearing about the Epstein files? So I just think it's something that people need to keep talking about and pressing the government on, because if they never expose the files, if we never see it, then at least we expose them for being liars and hiding something. And that's worse. So I think they think they're protecting themselves, but every single day that they wait to expose the truth, more and more people distrust the Trump admin specifically.
Especially the way they're scrambling around and they just keep changing their story. Each and every day is something different. It's first, there was something going on in the island. Then it's, why are we still talking about this? And then it's a hoax. We know that, reports come out that even the footage that they released of Jeffrey Epstein's cell, which wasn't even his cell was around the corner. That video they say that it's been altered. A minute of the video is missing. That could be from the tapes resetting. I heard that there's like a little pause in between when they reset, but who knows? This could just be more, gaslighting us.
Shane Gillis was at the ESPYs, which is an award show for minorities and lesbians. And he had a joke about Epstein. Listen.
Actually, there was supposed to be an Epstein joke here, but as it got deleted. Must have probably deleted itself, right? Probably never existed, actually. Let's move on as a country and ignore that.
That's good.
I don't understand the hate for Shane personally. I think it's like a white guy that's like trying. But again, I think he's trying.
He's a
in
white
a woke
guy
world.
that's trying.
Well, he's trying. And I think that at least he tries to still be funny and not be woke. Is he the best comedian in the world? I don't particularly find comedians funny, but I do think that it's a good joke.
I think Theo Von's
Theo Von's funny, yeah.
Paid a lot. I went to go see Theo Von, by the way, and I was actually surprised at how much sort of like inappropriate humor he was able to get away with at an arena, right? Because I know if you go to like a small, comedy
they'll ban
club,
you, if you.
Yeah. But he was like, he had an entire segment on just like kind of like black fatigue, and it was like, wow, that's actually crazy.
He's hilarious. I've seen him twice.
But on the subject of like the whole Epstein stuff too, like it reminds me, it's very reminiscent in my opinion of what they did on January 6th. Like they had all this footage that they were going to release. Then they said they didn't. Then they said that they lost all of it. They lost like a terabyte of footage or something, or they lost rather. And it's like when they go back and forth on this, and this is where the government fails. They're not even good at covering things up. They're not even good at hiding the truth. Like, if you're going to decide to do that, you should have a plan in place to, you know, an official narrative that you have to stick to. And they failed to do that with January 6th, and they failed to do that with the Epstein files too. So it's like you can kind of see when they're lying because they kind of vacillate in the same way every single time that they do. Like, we still haven't seen all the footage from January 6th, I'm pretty sure. And we see bits and pieces that come out every few months, but it's like we have to beg for it. It's insane. It's the same thing now.
And a lot of the videos that they released were actually altered. So if you look at the scenes inside the CCTV footage, they added audio to it. They tried to make it sound much more extreme. That was added on. They even went ahead and when they did they had the big show that they did about it. It was like a special that they had. They hired the Transformer director to help make it seem more extreme and like how they can paint this picture. Instead of putting the truth out of what really happened, they went ahead and they pretty much just turned it into a dog and pony show.
We also just gifted 5 memberships. Rift TV gifted 5 memberships to Rift TV. Just a reminder, anybody who's on staff, if you ever like want to just gift a couple memberships to anyone, you can just throw it in your invoice to the company. Like, I'll pay you back for that. But if there's ever anyone that wants to be memberships or members, we did have someone who just joined as a paid member though. Thank you so much. Doc68 Whiskey is now a monthly supporter. And by the way, Doc, if you email Elijah@rifttv.com to say thank you for joining as a membership, occasionally we'll do little promos on Rumble. I'll give you free 6 months on Locals as well, just to kind of like share the love and join it. So email me and I'll give you a code to join. I'd like to remind you guys this too. If any of you guys are unsure about Locals, if you want to join, if you don't know if it's like valuable to you and you're like kind of unsure if you like want to join, we can always send you a code, a one-time code if you email Mike for a free month. And then it'll like auto renew for a year at the end if you don't want it. It is true. It's, you know, we're like a scam clothing company hoping you forget to cancel. No, but I mean genuinely,
Please forget.
Well, some people really just don't. I'm being honest. Some people don't know. And then also out there, just so you know as well, if you've ever been a Locals supporter, I do this all the time, and you couldn't afford to like renew it, I'll always give you a coupon for a few free months if you like need that, or even if you're a month to month and you need a free month because you're not able to do that. We're not like just trying to like take your money. We actually want you to be a part of Locals. So make sure you go to ElijahSchaefer.locals.com. You get a free a free segment every time here on the show that we are live and able to do that. So I appreciate that. Mike Pence, by the way, has commented on the Epstein files and said this: it is time to release the Epstein files. Listen.
Matter is a hoax. Last week, his Justice Department said there were more than 1,000 victims of Jeffrey Epstein. Last summer, Trump said he was open to declassifying all the relevant files and the Epstein client list, and that his suicide looked suspicious. How can all those things be true and it be a hoax? I don't understand where things stand with all this.
I think the time has come for the administration to release all of the files regarding Jeffrey Epstein's investigation and prosecution. It's important that we protect the names of the victims. They should be excluded from any disclosure. But whether or not the facts justify charges, I think that anyone who participated or was associated with this despicable man ought to be held up to public scrutiny.
One of the most aggressive investigative reporters in our country, Julie K. Brown, was on my show last night, and she said when the Justice Department last week said 1,000 victims, she said that was a higher number than she was familiar with and indicated to her that there have to be accomplices. Accomplices that some of the victims have named that worked with Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. And she said, shouldn't there be some inquiry into whether or not those people should be exposed to criminal prosecution? Well, do you agree with that?
I just think we ought to get the facts to the American people. I mean, I've always believed in transparency.
And when the president says it's all a hoax, what is he talking about?
Well, Jeffrey Epstein's prosecution began during the Bush administration. Continued.
He's blaming it on Democrats.
The Obama years.
It's not a hoax.
I know of no reason why this administration, once the victims' names are protected, should not release all the files on Jeffrey Epstein.
Never mind. I wanted to do this, so we're going to go over to Locals to talk about the rest of the stuff. Let me see what we're going to be talking about on Locals, so I can give you a reminder. As Hennessy likes to point out, and we always stick to what we say we're going to do, like especially with our meetings here. If we're like, oh, we're going to be like really serious and like keep it on par here. It's like we actually only have about a month to get it there, because I think once we start our Gateway show, they're going to start monitoring like our shows, and so we're going to have to like get it on board. Especially once like Joel Webbin's show's launched, it's like we have like a pastor on our on our panel. We like figure our stuff out. But I do think we're still a little bit in the transition. We're so new to YouTube that it's like, it is hard. Like with Edward, I've been on Rumble for so many years, just saying whatever I want, that it's hard to bring it down. However, we did get through a lot more topics tonight. We've been getting through like one maximum over like 7.
Yeah, we're hitting like 20% of what we
talked about more than just Epstein tonight.
Let's get a round of applause. We usually only do 5% the other night. So now we're at 20%. No, but we're going to go through some more stuff because we have some abuse of food stamps we're going to be talking about. People who abuse food stamps is what we're calling them tonight. Plus, I know it's a little bit late, but Henny saw Superman, and he's anti-woke, but he has a different opinion on it that I think is really kind of interesting. And don't forget, as we go into this, if you want to join, earn this new thing, this Kindle, join our book club this Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. It should be able to film it all as well on Sunday. We might even be able to do it live on Sunday night, depending on what's going on, who's around. But we're chapters 4 through 6. We were supposed to do it this last Sunday. I'm sorry, it's a brand new show. We're getting started, the book club. But genuinely speaking, I was being hassled by the Australian government. We were supposed to be gone to Australia right now, and I was back and forth all day Sunday working with their home office and with the senator there in Australia, trying to figure out how to get to Australia. So just, talking about a book wasn't as important to me as my freedom to travel the world, unfortunately. But so you have more time. Message a picture of yourself watching one of the book club episodes or reading our book, Where the Right Went Wrong, to mike.mendoza@rifftv.com, MIKE.ME. N-D-O-Z-A, is that how it's what? Mendoza? Yeah, at rifftv.com, rfttv.com. Anna, if people want to find you and follow you before we go over to our members only section, how can they do so?
You can follow me on Twitter at wrongthinkanna_, and same on Instagram at wrongthinkanna_.
Let's go. Go ahead, Sarah.
Yeah, if you guys want to find me, it's just Sarah C. Stock on both Instagram and on Twitter. And my YouTube is just my name, Sarah Stock. Oh, well, it's probably too late, but I'll try to put it in the chat here too. And I have 2 new videos from the Turning Point conference up on there. And I'm actually going to do a live stream for the first time tomorrow, talking with Tim Gordon, a Catholic theologian.
Are you doing a live stream on your channel?
I just decided now, if that's okay.
Yeah, did you have that enabled and stuff? I'm just making sure we actually have that set up. You need like codes and stuff.
If it's not a live stream, it'll be up tomorrow.
Yeah, I was like, hold on, I don't know if your channel's set up for that.
Not to rug pull anyone, but we're going to try to do a live stream because I think it'd be fun.
I'm going to say before Henny goes, he's going to talk about some awesome people in the chat. But for me, I'm going to remind you guys, please subscribe to our new YouTube channel if you're watching on Rumble. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure that you know that we could be deleted at any time off of YouTube. So subscribe to our Rumble channel, which I just put in the chat. So you want to go over there and subscribe. And I'm kind of telling you guys the truth. Look, this show is live 5 days a week at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Over time, it's just going to grow. The audience is going to be there. But you know people that are looking for alternatives to Tim Pool. They're looking for things to watch at night. It's about 4 p.m. Pacific. People want to show. Again, it's not too serious, but it's not a light show either. We talk about real topics. So if people are new to politics, if you just want something that maybe is not so ideological, we're more like open to disagreements, and you kind of just want to hang out and join the community, send it to people, because people are looking to join people that think like them. And there's a lot of your friends out there, like, they just don't know how to find shows like this. So grab the YouTube link. That's why we're on YouTube. They're gonna be like, what the hell is Rumble? You know what I mean? Give them the YouTube link and tell them to join and subscribe. And if you're watching this, you know how important it is to us that you actually hit the follow button, you hit the subscribe button, and like the video. It does help us out a lot, because I know everyone asks you to do that. Please subscribe, please follow. But it's like, hey, we're literally trying to create the first network that is right-wing, that is, completely presenting itself in the way that all of our competitors present ourselves, but we're not taking Zionist money, and we are actually going to tell the truth about these cases. We're not going to ask you to drop the Epstein case. We want to do this, and it's like, well, other people say the same thing. Yeah, but we're forming a network, so like there is strength in numbers. You're not going to just get chopped off the block or deleted or banned working here. Like, we're going to fight for you. And that means we're going to fight for you who are part of our community. And we love that you join. And especially when we start doing our live events, it'll be nice when you're early and you get the early info and the early invites and even get gifted free tickets. It's going to be really cool. So, Hennessy, I know that you mentioned there's some really badass people in the chat right now that did some crazy things.
Yeah, absolutely. We appreciate the support. A few of them we had Tad He Berlin. Gifted 5 subscriptions, and he did it twice, so that's 10 subscriptions right there.
Whoa. So that's like $50, bro. Thanks, man. That's a lot of money.
We appreciate that very much. And Ryle Bags as well, 5 subscriptions for Rift TV. So thank you guys for the support. We greatly appreciate it. You know, we can't do without you. So
thank you.
No, we can't. But also where to find and follow
if you want to find me, you can find me at snowflake_news. I'm on Instagram as well as X. I'd love for you guys to come check it out.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you. Tad Heberlin. I don't know how to say that. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll see you over at ElijahSchaefer.locals.com for our exclusive segment looking at food stamp abusers. I wonder who those could be. We'll see you in a moment.